Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany React Show. And on this show we talk all things entertainment news and movie news. We have a lot of strike news today actually because unfortunately it's not good strike news. The SAG and studio negotiations did not go well. We're going to get into that. A lot of the reason the SAG strike negotiations didn't go well was because of AI. So we are going to have an AI discussion today as well. Plus, we do have some entertainment news. Like, we are going to talk about the new Wonka trailer and a few other things. So we have actually, like, a pretty full, jam-packed stream for today. I was actually pretty impressed. Usually, like, during the week, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to get all this stuff together. But today, or at least this week, it was like, no, there was actually, like, a good amount of news each and every day. I'm like, thank you, I needed that. How is everyone doing? Hi, Josh. Hi, Nicholas Wilson. Hi, Hidden Name. Hi, Natanya. Hi, Motion Going. Hi, Jellic Creative Studio. Hi, Dania. Hi, Eric. Hi, Joshua. Hi, DIY Girl. Hi, Yellow Umbrella. Hi, Burning Daylighter, and everyone who is here. I do genuinely appreciate each and every one of you who is here every day. I love it. You guys make my day. I do want to give you guys an update again. Just this weekend I am moving, so there is no stream tomorrow because I gotta finish cleaning and packing up. I got a lot still to do, and I still have to set up my Wi-Fi and everything when I get there, so there's a good possibility that I might not be until like either next Wednesday or possibly even next Thursday until I can, have another stream. So if you see like I miss a few streams next week and tomorrow, don't think like the stream is over. It's not. It's because I'm moving and I still have to set things up. So I'm just giving you guys that warning. How are you guys doing though? Yes, you will get a new room set up. Yep. So very exciting stuff. All right. So let's just get straight to the entertainment news because like I said, there's a lot to go over today. So the first thing I want to go over is actually the Wonka trailer. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing again because copyright and all that, but I just want to say I'm noticing on the internet, at least, this trailer is not clicking with people, and I think I understand why. This whole thing is just very, I don't know how to, what is the word for it? It's like, this isn't a Disney movie, but it's like the Disney-fied version of the Willy Wonka story. Like, it's so painfully, sickeningly sweet, Like, it's made by the same director that did Paddington, and he's giving that same tone to it. And I feel like that's the wrong tone. As you guys see, it's giving, I don't know. It's just, the original Willy Wonka movie is known for actually being quite creepy. Like, a lot of people even consider that original movie to sort of be like, almost like a horror movie for kids. I mean, when you think about it, it's about taking a bunch of kids through a bunch of experiments, and if they don't pass the challenge, they get tormented until they die. Or at least you just stop hearing or seeing them. So, the original Willy Wonka movie is actually pretty dark when you, think about it. And I think that's part of the charm. It's kind of like, on the surface it's so rosy and charming, but underneath it's like kind of creepy and you don't know what's going on really. And I feel like this movie has none of that suspense. It has none of that sense of creepiness or foreboding I feel like Willy Wonka needs, because even the Johnny Depp version of the story kind of had that, ooh, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Like it had that duality as part of him. Whereas this one is just, it's all sugary. It's very, whimsical. Like I said, it's like if Disney made this story, this is what they would do. And I think that's why it's not clicking with people. I just don't know if this really feels like Willy Wonka. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Now, we do get to see the inside of his factory here. I think it looks all right. I don't think it looks as good as the original, but I mean, I guess it looks okay. Again, I also feel like the design here is a missed opportunity. It's kind of just meh. And then they spend a lot of time with the Oompa Loompa character. I get it. He's a huge actor. Like, everyone loves him. I get it. Hugh Grant is great. But they spend a lot of time in this trailer just focusing on him, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the selling point the marketing team thinks it is. Like, both the beginning and the end of this trailer opens with the scene featuring him. So, like, they're trying to sell this movie off of Hugh Grant hard. I just don't know if that is, a huge selling point. But what do you guys think about the Willy Wonka show? Are you guys into it? Shelly Lee says, where's the color? Yeah, it also looks very desaturated. I'm very over that. I think after Barbie, studios should hopefully realize that people really want color. And this whole desaturated look is, I think people are done with it. Because, yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity with the color grading, too. Nicholas says, I grew up with the books, Charlie, so I don't think that it fits. Yeah, I think it just feels a little off. I really like Timothée Chalamet as an actor, and I defended him hard in the first trailer. Some of you guys may remember. But after this second trailer, I think I'm starting to understand the critiques. Yeah, Charity, it kind of feels like a Christmassy movie. And not even like a serious Christmas movie, but like a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like, that's the vibes it's giving. And I don't think that's the vibes Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is supposed to give. Desaturated whimsy. Exactly. That's why I think this feels like a Disney movie. Because desaturated whimsy is like Disney's whole MO right now. Like, if you guys saw the new live action Peter Pan and Wendy, that's exactly how I would describe that movie. Desaturated whimsy. This is what it's kind of reminding me of a bit. Well, and why I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, I said it. It's giving Hallmark Christmas movie. Yep. I said it. Prince says, yeah, I remember we made your opinion change on the first trailer. You kind of did. You guys kind of did. And then the second trailer has only solidified that I'm like, maybe you guys were right. Wanda says, I'm Gen X and was terrified by Gene Wilder's Wonka. His portrayal was iconic and never be duplicated. That's true. He was terrifying. And even Johnny Depp's version, even though he was still more like zany and weird, there was still a part of him that was supposed to feel like you weren't sure where he stood at any point, like he could snap at any second. I'm not getting this from Timothée Chalamet's version. He's too, like, like, he's just, he's trying to be too goofy. There's, like, I think he's too much of a good guy. I don't think Willy Wonka is fully a good guy. I think he's an anti-hero. So Timothée Chalamet is playing him like he's a protagonist. And he should be playing him like he's an anti-hero. And I think that's why it's not clicking. Okay, Yellow Umbrella says you like Johnny Depp's version. Joshua, you might be right. I think this is gonna flop. Yeah, I think this is gonna flop. Prince says it doesn't give Christmas vibe. At least Tim Burton did not this one. Oh, you think Tim Burton's Johnny Depp gave Christmas vibes? I don't feel that way. But anyway, I'm still gonna see this movie just because, as you guys can see, I'm actually just a general fan of, like, Willy Wonka. I like both the previous movies. I'm just a general fan of the franchise, I guess it is now. So I'm gonna see this version, but I have to say, I have my expectations lowered. Much lower than they were a couple of months ago, so that sucks a bit. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So, this is very weird. Why is Halloween doing a cinematic universe? And it's going to be over film and television? I'm sorry, but I thought I've seen the last two Halloween movies, and they are awful. Oh my gosh. They are genuinely so bad. Like, I'm sorry if you like them. I guess you can like them if you want. It's all subjective, but I thought those recent Halloween movies are genuinely garbage. And now they want to do more? They want to make a whole cinematic universe? Where is there more to go with this story? There's nowhere else to go. Like, you're done. Like, this dude has been died and come back and died and come back and died and come back. There is no more. Some stories should die. Halloween should die. I thought, wasn't the last Halloween movie called Halloween Ends? Or something like that? They lied. Halloween did not end. But anyway, Josh says, I'm scared for the Halloween TV series after Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, which are so god-awful. Thank you, Josh, for agreeing with me. They are god-awful. I don't think it's a good idea to make more when you can't even make just one good movie. Like, this is a very bad idea. It's giving Scream. Yeah, I mean, I think Scream is doing a whole lot better than the Halloween franchise. I think those movies are at least a bit more fun and a little bit better. The Halloween movies are just indefensible. Rachel says, there was a bidding war over this, right? Has no one learned the lessons from Disney expanding their TV cinematic universe? Apparently not. Hollywood doesn't seem to learn their lesson from anything. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot sometimes, and I'm just like, why are they making the same mistakes over and over again? It makes no sense. But anyway, I just had to bring this up because I was like, really? You're gonna keep making more Halloween? There's nowhere else to go with this story. But anyway, moving on. So, also some bad news. Best Buy plans to stop selling physical media such as 4K and Blu-rays and DVDs, possibly as soon as the end of Q1 2024. So just the early next year, basically. I've been telling you guys a lot that the end of physical media is here. Like, people aren't really buying physical discs anymore. They're not really buying DVDs. Unfortunately, Blu-rays haven't had the sort of revival that records have in music. So, like, I guess they're just thinking it's just a waste of space now. So they're thinking about not even selling Blu-rays or DVDs in the store at all. And Best Buy is not the only store to be doing this. Target has been talking a lot about how they're planning to use, like, less and less physical media. If you ever go to, like, the electronics portion of Target now, like, I swear the DVD section is, like, half a shelf. Like, it just shrinks more and more every time I go there. Has anyone else noticed that? But now Best Buy is getting in on it too. So yeah, it's if you want your favorite movie on a physical disc, buy it now before it starts becoming harder and harder to, like, actually get something physically. Because sooner or later, eventually, the only way to get something physically is going to be online. Yeah, kind of weird times. Oh, government name says hopefully they sell their stock at a discount. Maybe they'll have a huge blowout sale and you guys can just get a bunch of DVDs. Oh, Little Joe's Animation says the end of the world is officially here. Oh, that's very dramatic. Why is this the end of the world? I mean, I know it's the end of physical media, but the end of the world? I mean, you guys are so funny. Yellow Umbrella says, don't know anything about American stores, so, oh, Best Buy is good. Yes, Best Buy is known, it's a big electronics store, in America. It's one of the last, like, big retail box stores for electronics, because they've all died out. I'm surprised Best Buy has held on this long anyway. Yeah, just wanted to bring this up because sad days for physical media. Anyway, moving on. So, also sad days for Western animation, because we've been hearing a lot about studios, like, getting rid of their Western animation, they're getting rid of their animation studios, or their animation units. Netflix is the latest to do so. Netflix's animation unit is set to be restructured, including layoffs and the shutdown of 2 films currently in pre-production. The streamer is now looking to acquire films from third-party producers rather than producing more in-house. So basically what this means is they are just cleaning house with their own animation team, their own staff, their own animators, and they are now looking to acquire films from other companies, from other animators outside of Netflix, and possibly, most likely, outside of the country as well. So they're basically outsourcing their jobs abroad. I mean, that's essentially what they're going to do. And it's very bad days. Again, this is happening with studios across the board. It's not just Netflix. It seems like, honestly, it seems like the end of Western animation. Like, it really feels like not even just with consumers seeming to prefer like anime and like Eastern animation, but it's like the studios now also want to work with that talent as well over Western animators, like animators that are actually like from, you know, the West and make typical Western animation. So it's interesting days. It's scary days, in fact, if you're an animator. If you're in college and you wanted to go into animation, like here in the US, this would be scary days for you. Like, I wouldn't even know what to say. I mean, it's scary days for everyone. Everyone's having problems, really, because of AI. Sorry my voice is a little... I'm feeling like maybe I'm coming down with a cold. Robert Bell says, looks like we just have to rely on Japan and Asia for our animated movies. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Hi, Blue Gecko Nerd. Friend says, oh no, not animation getting thrown down. Hollywood does not respect animation. No, it doesn't. It seems like animation, as all these studios are trying to like consolidate and like, you know, save money, it seems like their animation studios are always the first to go, which really sucks. Really sucks for everyone. So I just wanted to update this for you guys. I'm keeping you updated on what's going on in the animation space because it's part of... I think it says a lot about where, like, we are with media consumption and like how the media trends are changing. I just find this kind of stuff really interesting, so keeping you updated. Yellow Umbrella says, Britt, did you ever have an illegal movie website phase? Didn't we all? Man, I was using LimeWire back in the day. Thought I was gonna get arrested by the FBI. I was like a little like, how old was I? Oh man, I was really young. I was like 10. I was like 10, like I accidentally downloaded not accidentally. I purposely, you know, downloaded an illegal song off of LimeWire. If you know what LimeWire is, it was like a big illegal downloading site back in the day. But people used to put horrible pranks in some of those songs because you never knew like if it was going to be like what you thought you were downloading. And so sometimes people would put like horrible FBI warnings in them where it'd be like, stop, you have been caught downloading this song. And me being an impressionable little kid who was probably not supposed to be downloading illegal stuff anyway. Heard this song and was like, well, not the song, I heard this FBI warning and I was like, oh my god, I've been caught. I was so scared. I was scared to use LimeWire for months after that. But anyway, that was a very random side story that you just made me think about. But yes, I'm sure some of you know. Yes. Oh, Robert Bell says I watched all my movie and TV shows on illegal websites. Oh man. I mean, it was so common, especially in the 2000s before we started getting streaming. I mean, that's why streaming came about, because everyone was pirating. Like, pirating, I mean, it's still very common, but especially back then, it was like, everyone pirated. Like, it was extremely common. Remember, and those old commercials, exactly, Joshua Munn, I was just about to, like, bring those up. Like, you wouldn't steal a DVD. You wouldn't steal a car. Yeah. I loved those commercials, but also they kind of scared me at the same time. Yeah, I remember seeing those a lot. But anyway, we have gotten way off track. That was just a trip down memory lane. But anyway, moving on to strike news, because that's what, like, the main big news of the day actually is. So, unfortunately, it's bad news, though, because SAG has revealed that the studio CEOs have refused to continue negotiating and won't offer a counter to SAG's latest offer. basically saying that the studios have walked away from the negotiating table. They're not willing to talk anymore. They have rejected SAG's offer, and the two are no longer on speaking terms. Remember, I was telling you guys that for the past, like, over a week now, like a week and a half or so, SAG and the studios have been at the table negotiating, trying to get a deal together. And I've been telling you guys that I thought, well, now that the writer's strike is over, that the SAG strike would be done shortly after because the two are basically hand in hand. So I did not see this coming. I really thought that SAG would get a deal done because they would be under so much pressure to get one done, since everyone thought these strikes were about to end anyway. And this is like a huge, like, wait a minute, these strikes aren't over? Like, I'm sure a lot of people are really surprised. So yeah, if I don't know when these two people, or when the studios and the SAG members are gonna go back to negotiating. I don't know when they're gonna come back to the table again, but it could be weeks, it could be months, who knows? That's the thing. I really thought these strikes were about to end like pretty soon, but now I'm thinking I might go back to my original prediction, which was I thought these strikes weren't going to be over until the end of the year. And now I'm thinking it might just be the SAG strike that's not over until the end of the year. Who saw this coming? Oh, Boom Kitty saw this coming. Okay, well, Boom saw it happen. Angie says, oh no, this will go on for a while. I know. I have no idea. I really thought it was going to be over, guys. I really thought this was it. I really did. But no, I'm thinking, like I said, if they didn't come to a deal, the strike is not ending this year. They won't come back to negotiating until January. And I feel like that might be the case. This strike might go on until the end of the year, which would be terrible for the entire industry, because you still... just to reiterate what this means with the SAG strike going on, that means nothing can go into production because you can't use any actors. Basically, all Hollywood actors are a part of SAG, so that means they can't film anything. They can't go back to filming Deadpool 3 or any of the other movies that have stopped production. All they can do is go back to writing things because the writer's strike is over. But the actors? No. Can't do anything. They can't promote anything either. Sorry. So all of the movies that are coming out, there's still going to be no one around to be able to promote them. So Wonka's coming out later this year, so is The Marvels. Both of those movies, those actors probably are not going to be able to promote those movies because the SAG strike will still be going on. So this affects a lot of things. Robert Bell says this will never end. It might not. I mean, it definitely will. I know we're being very dramatic. It definitely will end. But I think it's not going to end for a while. Joshua, I mean, I hope you're not right. I hope you're not right. I mean, let's get to why this exactly the strike is did not go through. Or I mean, the negotiation didn't go through. So there's two main sticking points for why this whole thing didn't go through. And the funny thing is, I said from the very beginning of this strike that the two main things that would probably hold up this entire strike would be residuals and AI. And guess what? The two things that everyone's still fighting over is residuals and AI. So let me explain. So firstly, with residuals, SAG says the studio CEOs first proposed an offer worth less than what they proposed when the strike began, which is pretty cruddy of them. They add that the revenue share proposal for streaming would have only cost studios less than 57 cents per streaming subscriber. What they were asking for would have only cost them less than 57 cents per streaming subscriber, but the studio said that was too much for them. They can't do it. They're too broke. They can't afford it. So there's that. Again, actors want success-based residuals because they want money. Sorry. Because they want money for how well their movies or TV shows or whatever are doing on streaming. And the studios are still basically not willing to negotiate with that. And then the second thing is about AI, which is probably the most dystopian part about all of this. Okay, so the studio CEOs are continuing to demand consent on the first day of employment for use of an actor's digital replica for an entire cinematic universe or a franchise project. What that means is that studios want to pay an actor for one day's worth of pay to use that actor's likeness for the entire time any given franchise that they signed up for needs to use their likeness. So, for example, say you're a new actor trying to work for Marvel, and they'll pay you for one day to get your likeness together, and then they can just use you for any Marvel movie forever until the end of time. That's what the studios want to do. And again, for one day's pay, especially for something like a background actor, they're only getting paid like less than $200. So they want to own your likeness basically for all of time for like less than $200. So obviously the actors are against that. And the thing is, the studios are already trying to use AI. We're going to get to the AI section in a bit. But I'm going to show you how studios have already been caught trying to use AI. So it's a real thing that's actually happening already. Even while they're trying to negotiate about, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. So they're definitely trying to do it. Okay, I have heard of the movie The Congress. I need to watch that. People keep saying it's like The Congress. What I know, it's like the Black Mirror episode. What's her name? Joan is Awful? Yeah. This is basically Joan is Awful, but in real life. Joshua Munn says, the actors and video game actors are about to strike. Video games too, right when I'm about to get a PS5. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the video game actors need to strike as well. I mean, this is going to affect them. I mean, it's going to affect the video game industry just as much as going to affect the Hollywood film industry. AI is going to affect everyone. I definitely think these are just the beginnings of all of the strikes that are going to be happening. But yeah, you guys are definitely right. So, now, just reiterating, these are the main 2 points that everyone's fighting over, as I always said. It's the getting money from streaming revenue, and it's the guardrails over how to use AI. I don't think actors are saying that they don't want AI used at all. I just think they want protections over how their image is used. And right now it seems like the studios very much just want to control an actor's image without the actor having much control over what that image does. And I think as long as the studios still have this mindset of being like, yeah, we'll pay you a measly like $200 to use your likeness forever, as long as they still have that mentality, I don't think this strike is ending. Because obviously actors are never, and they should never, say yes to that. So I think because of these issues, I think these strikes could go on for a very long time. Now, Tanya, you should watch Black Mirror. You should watch Black Mirror if you want like a good sneak peek preview at our very near dystopian future. Because they are getting way too many things right. Frame says this feels like a dystopia. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is insane. Joshua Munn says, just think that if the streaming wars had never happened, then these strikes in Hollywood would never have happened either. That's interesting too. Oh, I know. The streaming wars, really streaming is the cause of all of these issues. I think Netflix hoodwinked everyone into thinking that streaming could be profitable for everyone, and that's clearly not true. And now all the studios are paying for it. It's going to be really bad for the industry, I think, in like the next 10 years. I think we're only at the beginning of all of the change and turmoil this industry is going to have to go through. Josh Loves Movies says, actors and actresses should be protected by the studios from AI as they shouldn't steal their likeness or personalities. And we are going to get into the AI section in a bit, so let me just keep going, but there is a bill, apparently, that is being put forth in Congress right now to address this whole AI likeness situation. So, again, we'll get to that in a second. So, I think Discussing Film, they've been doing a really good job just, like, updating everyone on the strikes. And they made this really good post that, all they are asking for is 2% of their revenue. Or less than 2%. And these are the salaries of all of the major Hollywood executives for the past 5 years. David Zaslav, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, has made $500 million in just the past 5 years. And all the actors are asking for is 2%. Look at these. Look at these. This is crazy. Absolutely insanity. And David Zaslav, by the way, hasn't even had the job for 5 years. He's only been doing the job for like 3 years, right? So this is like $500 million in like 3 years, really. That's an insane salary. Insane. And they're acting like they're too broke to pay people. Craziness. Joshua Munn says, good luck trying to get that bill passed with everything else that's going on in the country and the world. I know. The world is really heavy right now. Very sad stuff. Royal says, y'all are so rich, like, please be serious. I know, it is very greedy. When you see how much they make, it's just like, how, all they're asking for is 2%. Again, they're asking for the equivalent of, like, the cost of a postage stamp, although that's not true. I had to get a postage stamp recently, and it was $1, not 25 cents, and I was appalled. But anyway, they're asking for, like, the equivalent of, like, less than 25 cents per subscriber. That's nothing. Look at how much they make. It's just greedy. You can't tell me this is not greedy. Again, David Zaslav hasn't even been working for 5 years, and he still made $500 million. Crazy. But anyway, so this is, again, the most Irish sounding name possible, but SAG's president, I think he is, or co-president, he's one of the main people over at SAG. Duncan Crabtree Ireland. I just love his name. He was out there making a speech saying, like, all they're asking for is less than one postage stamp per subscriber. Like, they're asking people to go out and still picket, and, they're not asking people to back down. And apparently there was a statue here of a Mickey Mouse hand throwing an obscene gesture back at Disney, and this was actually on Disney's studio lot. So things are getting pretty heated. I feel like for them to put this here, Bob Iger must have been one of the main villains of the negotiating table, because obviously there's a lot of anger specifically at Disney here. I just thought this image was particularly hilarious, and I had to show you. Hybrid Venom says, wait, who was making a joke? Boom Kitty says Hollywood is dying. I mean, I think it is. Unfortunately, I don't even think that's like a dramatic statement anymore. I think there's a lot of reasons to suggest that I don't think it's ever going to be dead, but I think it's definitely declining. Just like Marvel isn't dead, but it's definitely declining. Little Joe's Animations, love it. Robert Bell says it's deserved. Okay. Hybrid Venom says, I'm not AI, but I literally want to... You want AI to never be used because it's stupid? Well, when we get to the member question, I literally asked you guys, like, do you think it's even possible to stop AI? Like, what can they do about this? We'll get to the member section in a second. So, SAG says the studios are refusing to continue negotiations. The studios made an offer that was less than the one proposed before the strike, so this offer was actually worse. I don't know how the offer got worse, but it did. That sucks. And then, of course, it's talking about just the AI protections and the fact that they're not really getting much from streaming residuals. So these are the main issues. I think as long as studios don't want to budge on these issues, I don't think this strike is ending anytime soon, unfortunately. I think my original prediction that these strikes wouldn't be over until January might be true after all. Because again, the studios seem very hard-pressed on using AI, and I just think that one issue is going to keep this strike going on for a very long time. Alright, oh, no. So now we're getting to the AI section, which is there's even more to talk about specifically with AI, believe it or not, because like I said, a couple of studios got caught using AI recently. Disney, of course, was the first one because I think Disney is just itching at the bit to use this stuff. But earlier this year, Disney released a movie called Prom Pact. I think I vaguely heard of it, didn't watch it though. But they used background they used AI background actors. Apparently, they've been digitally scanning background actors and are using their digital likeness in various movies and TV shows without payment or permission. And if you just blow up the image, you can clearly see that a couple of these background actors are not real. Okay, yeah. Look at this. Clearly there's something off here. The faces look very it's giving Polar Express, you know. Clearly you can tell not all of this is real. But here's the issue. AI is obviously going to get better. This is the worst it's ever going to look. And the fact that I guess no one really could tell until now, because I bet this was just like a quick, you know, cutaway shot or whatever that no one probably paid attention to. But the fact that they've already started to try to sneak and use AI, and like we're only just starting to notice this stuff, means that like, again, the studios really want to use it because they're already using it. And that's why I think this strike might go on for a long time, because look at this. Hybrid Venom says, I just do not want people to use it, because why use it exactly? You could just voice act and also learn art, and it would be very good. Well, the reason they want to use it is because they could save a lot of money. If they don't have to hire background actors, that's a lot of money they can save. If they don't have to hire actors at all, that's a ton of money you can save. If you don't have to hire with AI, you don't even need a camera. Like, that's a lot of money you can save. Natanya has been a member for 3 months. Thank you, Natanya, for being a member for that long. Wow. Just sticking with me. I've always appreciated your support. The AI was so noticeable. Yeah, it is very noticeable in this image. Very true. Joshua says, Disney and other studios have been trying to use AI and deepfakes since 2010. Look at Tron Legacy. Look at The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Look at even Forrest Gump. It's been the end game. True. I feel like Disney has been trying to like prototype and like test out this technology for a while now. That is true. But I think with the recent advances in AI, with generative AI, I think they're planning to use this a ton more now. So we're probably going to see more and more stuff like this. There's actually a quick video. Yeah, the image is even worse. Like, look at this. What in The Sims? This is giving me Sims. Look at this woman here in the yellow. Oh man, this is nightmare fuel. Definitely in the uncanny valley. You can easily tell who's real and who's not real here. But yeah, I guess you're gonna start seeing more stuff like that. Hopefully it looks a whole lot better, but I just had to share that nightmare-inducing video with you guys. Robert Bell says, this is just going to rub the actors the wrong way even more now. Oh yeah, I'm sure this is firing them up, because this looks like very, very bad. Pop says, I think the goal is not to even make it that realistic because we don't pay attention to background characters. True. You really don't pay attention to background people. I mean, this looks very bad. I hope they can do at least a little better than this. But I think I don't want background actors to all just be digital dummies. Like, have you guys seen, like, there's always that one background extra that does the most, right? Who stands out even though they don't really have a large part. We're gonna lose that. We're gonna lose just the magic and charm of feeling real people walking around in a space. I feel like that is very bad. And I don't want that. But I feel like I don't know how to stop that from coming, you know? Yeah, it is very uncanny. Oh no, Jojo Rod says, why they give the girl in the back a Squidward nose? I don't know. But, again, Disney's not even the only one, because the new Gladiator II movie that's coming out next year, they also were digitally scanning people without their consent or giving proper explanation. It didn't feel like we could say no, said one extra, adding that they were rushed through and giving little time to think or ask questions. So it sounds like they were scanning background actors for Gladiator II as well. So sounds like that movie is probably using AI. So if you're a little worried about AI taking over Hollywood, I would be looking in the background for this movie because it sounds like they're trying to use AI for this too. Which kind of sucks because I was very much looking forward to Gladiator 2. I still am. I just think that, I mean, this is Ridley Scott too. Like, Ridley Scott is actually back to direct this movie. If Ridley Scott, who is, supposed to be like a very respected, acclaimed director, is willing to use AI, then I think there's just nothing holding it back. I think that's a sign of the times. Josh Loves Movies says they were saying they were using it for Napoleon as well. Oh, I missed that. Oh man, I'm really still excited for Napoleon, but I guess that makes sense because if you look just in the trailer, there's a lot of wide shots of a lot of large crowds of people. I'm not surprised that some of those might just be AI dummies. So, wow, there's AI in Napoleon. It's already happening, guys. It's already happening. Joshua says Gladiator is another one that was one of the first movies to digitally recreate an actor after the actor's death, and that won an Oscar. True. I just think that we're going to be getting more and more of it now. Like, I know this isn't the first time this kind of stuff has happened, but I just think that it's going to become the norm instead of being like, oh, they used AI to do this or to do that. It's going to be like every movie now. It's going to be like spot the AI mistake in the background. Like, I feel like that's what you're going to be doing now, or at least on social media. Boom Kitty says they can use AI angst against the actors for destroy the actor's career. Oh, now that is very dystopian, because you're totally right. Like, imagine if an executive had a grudge against an actor, and that executive had complete control over that actor's image. They could do a lot of damage. You're totally right. Oh man, this is dystopian. Oh, this is awful. What kind of future are we stepping into? I'm like constantly between like fascinated and intrigued and like horrified and scared. Like, I am both. I don't know how you guys are, but I am both. But anyway, so again, the Ireland guy says that the studios still maintain that for example, for some new actor being hired on an MCU movie, that on day one they can say you have to sign over the rights to your digital replica for the entire franchise. You would be expected to say today that I'm signing over my digital replica for movies not even imagined yet that are going to happen in 15 to 20 years from now. You wouldn't have any right to say what happens, and you wouldn't have any right to get paid for that digital replica's use. How is that fair? And again, Disney was there in the negotiating table, so I feel like he's using Marvel as an example, but I feel like Marvel definitely wants to do this, like, for real. So, I think this is very crazy. Again, I get why SAG is saying no, and again, I think that's why this strike is going to go on for a while, because I don't think the studios are going to back down from this. The amount of cost savings they can get from this alone is, like, going to keep them fighting for it. But I don't know how this is going to end. I really don't. Charity says someone is going to make a Joker moment with these executives. Oh, that's dark. That is very dark. I'm not wishing violence on anyone. But I do think that this industry will be forever changed by these strikes and by AI. I think even in just 5 years from now, I'm thinking things are going to look very different. I think it's going to change very quickly, unfortunately. Josh Loves Movies says that studios are Ursula and the actors and actresses are getting their voices stolen. Oh, I love that metaphor, Josh. It is like Ursula stealing everyone's voice. Guy says petition to make AI that replace CEOs' positions. An AI could probably do a CEO's position better than a writer could. I honestly think in its current state, AI could probably do a better job as an executive. I honestly believe that. Now there is a new bill called the No Fakes Act that is being proposed to protect actors, singers, and others from having their voice and likeness become AI generated. If passed, it would hold people, companies, and platforms liable if they produce or host digital replicas without consent. So we don't know if this bill is going to get passed or anything, but I think it's nice that this seems to be among the first like major acts focused on AI to actually come up. Like we've been talking about the fact that the government's been very behind on passing any laws on AI, even though they really need to get on that. So this is like one of the first really big new bills around AI, and I'm not surprised at all that one of the first big new AI bills is around AI likeness, because that's already becoming such a big issue. So yeah, I mean, I hope this actually goes through. People should be able to control how their image is used. I fully believe that, especially if you're very famous and there's just so much, material to train, material out there that you can train an AI on. You need protection. So I'm glad that this exists. Who knows what comes of it, but at least, someone's trying to fight it. Because for a while, it just seemed like no one cared. Like, people were just... Like, you could go on right now on one of those, AI image creator things. You could go on one of those image generators right now, type in Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber doing lines at a strip club, and it will do that for you. And it will look very realistic. And there's nothing stopping you, no law stopping you. That kind of feels like there should be a law stopping that. And this could be the law, potentially, that could stop that. Have you guys, seen any of those images or played around with it? They're getting really good. Pop says, remember that dog movie with the famous actors from the 60s? I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry, Pop. Angie says, it will take them years to create laws on AI. By then, the AI will be already developed and replacing jobs. I know. The thing is, we don't really have years for, our government to come up with laws. That's why we need them now. Because you're right. In a few years, it's going to be, way too late. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, it's the end of the world as we know it. Oh, you're singing the song. Oh, no, that's the second person, though, that says this is the end of the world. About a different topic, too. I'm sorry if this whole stream is sounding very dystopian and dark, but I'm just reporting the news. Pretty Princess says, my poor grandfather couldn't even grasp how the AI Tom Hanks was fake. Oh no. Yeah, I really do feel bad for I feel like this AI stuff is already fooling a lot of people, and as it's getting better, I think it's going to keep fooling even more people. And there are, especially older generations, really older generations who this is just not their world. They're going to get fooled by a lot of this stuff. And I worry about that. I really do. I think the age of misinformation is about to get even worse, because once you can add images to it, I mean, you make any lie 1,000 times more believable. So I think that's really dangerous and, potentially very scary. Again, sorry, not trying to be dark and depressing, but I mean, it's just kind of where we're at right now, unfortunately. Robert Bell says, is the world going to turn into George Orwell's 1984? I hope not. I've actually read that book, and I've seen the movie. And I have to tell you, every year I feel like we get a little bit closer, and it scares me. Alright, moving on. Member question. Because try not to get too dark. I feel like I've already gotten too dark. Member question. I wanted to ask you guys, what the heck do we do about this AI stuff? What should Hollywood do about it? Is there any way to stop it? Do you guys think it should be stopped? Do you think it's ethical to have AI background actors? What are your thoughts? So as always, we have a lot of good comments here. So thank you everyone for commenting. Love 1994 Angel says, hi Brittany. Normally in the industry of visual effects, we use CG to create background actors when simulating a crowd. Behind the scenes, the company pays 10, maybe 15 people to be background actors, and we make it look like hundreds are there. AI cuts that CG process, so in my opinion, this will be affecting visual effects artists more than actors. It's taking away work from them, specifically in the area of crowd simulation. Wow, thank you for this comment. I love that this is like coming from an insider's perspective on like how the industry really works. So thank you. This is a great comment. But you're right. Again, I already knew that they've been using CGI to replicate crowds for a while. That's not new. But what is new is the use of AI to do it, which, as you just said, rapidly decreases the time you need to do it, which also means you need less visual effects artists to do the same amount of work. So you're right, this does affect visual effects artists more than affects actors, but I do think it also still affects actors, because after a while of signing up so many people's likenesses, especially forever, eventually you're not going to need background actors anymore. So eventually you're still going to be getting rid of an entire, like, area of acting, which is horrible. You're right, you're very much right, and I really appreciate you bringing this insight on, like, you know, how this stuff works, because you're right. But I think it's going to affect both. I think it's going to be really bad for both. Fofo, I believe this is Fod Fareed, says, I think AI background actors are fine because it's such a small role, but it's not for minor things. Then the AI shouldn't be used. So you think because background actors are just seen as like a minor role, it's fine? I understand what you're saying, but counterpoint, a lot of actors get their start by being background actors. I feel like if you start taking away like entry-level positions, then it's just going to make it even harder to do a job that was already hard to do to begin with. So that's what my concern is. I think that, again, you're just kind of shrinking the availability of jobs. And that's what AI is going to do. João Pedro says, I think AI should be used only for small productions. I mean, homemade level or independent movies at most. Well, why independent movies? I don't know. I feel like with the rise in AI, I would prefer if independent movies, like, were ones that just wanted to stay away from that stuff. And, like, we got, like, humanist movies where I could totally see, like, a movement arise where it's, like, you have humanist movies where it's, like, completely advertised that a movie was made 100% with humans. And, like, I could totally see that being a thing, to be honest. And I would like for independent cinema to kind of spearhead that movement, because obviously the main studios are not planning to do that. So I kind of disagree with that first statement. It's ridiculous for such big companies to cut this money at the cost of the actors they want to pay. There shouldn't be some limit, like, if your movie's budget is over X, you cannot use AI. But I think I don't think that's likely to happen. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this idea that if your movie is small enough or doesn't have a big enough budget, then it doesn't deserve protections from AI. I think I kind of have the opposite opinion. I really hope that smaller, more independent productions can actually hopefully stay away from AI, if they choose to. I don't know. I don't agree with you. I'm sorry, João Pedro. What do you guys think, though? You guys in the chat, you guys can also chime in. I will refresh. Joshua Mon says, mainly the studios want to save money and use as much AI and deepfakes as possible, and cut down the millions spent on all of these projects and the millions they have spent on big name actors. Yep. I mean, that's why they want to use AI, because there's just so much, like, cost savings. Like, I mean, from a business perspective, I understand it. It is tantalizing. Again, once AI is good enough that it can, like, make cinema grade quality AI movies, and you don't even need a camera, you don't need a camera operator, you don't need a boom operator, you don't need sound people, you don't need lighting people, you don't need anyone. I mean, from a business perspective, they're probably thinking like, oh my god, we can save millions. So that's why they're fighting so hard for the use of AI. That's why studios care so much, because they're thinking about like 5 years in the future when AI can do all that stuff. So that's what this is about. Glai says, it's sad that our laws never catch up fast enough to do these things. It's short-term gain for long-term profits. Yeah. I hope for a day where our voices and concerns are as valuable as the millions of dollars CEOs make for absolutely nothing. I love this comment. Oh, you guys are very salty in the chat today and in these comments. I love it. But yeah, I don't even know how to improve on that. I mean, yeah, I think these strikes have really highlighted how much these CEO executives just think very little of everyone else. Like, they definitely see themselves as like a step above the rest. Like, they see themselves as like better than everyone. And I think that has become very clear because of these strikes. But thank you for being a member. Alexander Padilla says, "Hey Brittany, I feel like it's really sad because eventually you're cutting off jobs for people who want to break into the industry. And personally for me, I don't want to see AI take over Hollywood. It's just weird. And I won't be able to make the live stream." Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for wishing me luck on the move. Alexander, you're always so supportive. I really do appreciate you always giving me support. Genuinely. Thank you. Robert Bell says, "Hi Brittany, I don't mind the use of AI as long as it is for small things and keep it minimal so that we don't really notice. But for the likes of background actors, I think it is ridiculous as they are easily attained. This is the reason why actors are striking, because they don't want AI taking away their jobs." Exactly. And here's how I don't think that AI should be completely banned from being used, because I don't think that's even practical. I think that there are certain use cases where AI could be useful. Like, here's what I was thinking. You know how Marvel is always getting, like, critiqued for having to go through major revisions all the time and having to, like, reshoot things just weeks before their movies comes out, or ask their visual effects artists to, like, constantly redo a scene? What if, like, how we use AI instead is like, okay, with real actors, real people, real everything, you shoot the scene once, and then maybe with AI, you can make adjustments. So, like, say if Marvel shot a scene one way, and then they realize later that they really wanted to end that scene another way, eventually they can ask the AI to just, like, change it for them, and they don't have to go back in and, like, actually reshoot everything. Yes, you're still missing that extra day's worth of pay for people, but at least you still had real people to begin with. I feel like AI can be used in that respect. How do you guys feel about that? Is that still too much AI use for you guys? Or do you think that's pretty reasonable? Kisaki says, "I still don't know why CEOs get paid so much. They don't need to be paid billions to help the studio function. I think it's all ego. Seriously, you can't convince me those CEOs actually do more work than anyone else at that studio. You can't convince me. Not the studio, but the whole company. You can't convince me." Okay, Wanda thinks that's a good idea. Okay. Kisaki says, "Visual effects workers will lose money, so no." Okay. I mean, I think, honestly, unfortunately, I think AI is going to, like, affect the industry no matter what, and it's going to lead a decline in jobs no matter what. I'm trying to put forth an idea that, like, you're at least starting with a base of real people, and then you have AI make alterations on top of that. That's how I feel like maybe AI could and should be used ethically. What do you guys think about that? Okay, you're a bit about that. Nicholas says, "Even the AI itself says that human ingenuity is still needed." Exactly. I don't think the AI... Okay, an AI eventually will be able to make a whole movie on its own, but I don't even think it'll be that good. I genuinely think you'll need a human to, like, massage it along to make it better, because I don't think the AI can make something that's, like, noteworthy all on its own. It needs a human to, make it better. That's why I think I think really what's going to happen is a lot of these actors and writers are going to be forced to use AI, not just get completely replaced by it. João Pedro says, "I was thinking of AI being okay just for personal projects because they don't have as much of a budget as the big studios, but I get your point." Oh, I get with that. Oh, okay, you just meant, like, small personal projects. If you want to use AI, that's totally fine. But I thought you meant, like, independent films, you know, it doesn't matter, they shouldn't get like AI protections. That I disagreed with. That's what I thought you were saying. All right, getting back to the member questions. Little Joe's Animation says AI is going to control the entertainment industry somehow, some way, in some form. I really think it's inevitable. It's moving faster than anyone with power can or wants to catch up with it. I kind of think you're right. That's why I'm trying to put forth ideas on how AI can be used, rather than just saying like, oh, AI shouldn't be used at all, because I don't think that's realistic. I don't think it's realistic to say that an entire industry should just never use a game-changing technology ever. It's obviously going to be used because the studios want to use it. So I think the argument should be about, okay, how do we use this for the betterment of all of us, rather than like, oh, we shouldn't be using it at all. At least that's my stance on it. But thank you, Little Joe's Animation. Brienne Solis says, if the studios use AI, they need to make sure it looks right, even if, for the moment, it's used for background actors. As for it being illegal or forced to have limits, I highly doubt the government will concern themselves with it. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't. The fact that studios want to use AI for the sake of being cheap is evil, but not surprising. Maybe the government will get involved. I mean, we did just talk about that bill. That bill is really like the first like genuine piece of AI legislation that we've gotten recently. So I'm hoping something comes out of it. I'm honestly surprised that we got something, like genuinely. Cheetah Viper says, I disagree with using AI background actors. Those small roles pay the bills. Not everyone can be a lead. There simply isn't enough parts. I'm not sure what can be done to stop it. It's sad. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, on one hand, it's very sad, and I don't want, obviously, people's jobs being taken by AI. But on the other hand, it's like, what can you do to stop it? Because even if you can say, like, the studios are barred from using AI, you can't stop individual, everyday people from using AI. And at some point, the studios are going to be competing with everyday, average people who will be able to make their own Hollywood-like productions from their apartments. So it's going to be very difficult to stay away from AI, is what I'm saying. I don't know how it can be stopped. Nicholas Wilson says, unfortunately, since digital effects became a thing, filmmakers have copy/pasted extras in the background of movies to make a crowd look bigger, and even used entirely CGI background characters. So I doubt the production companies will see that as doing anything different. Yeah, I'm sure that's their defense. And you're right, because they have been doing CGI crowds for a while. They're probably like, well, what's the big deal? And the big deal is that you're using a very different technology and methodology that would completely eliminate an entire job, or actually multiple jobs. So that's the big difference. The CoverGirl official says, I don't think studios should be using AI because that is removing opportunities for people who want to get into Hollywood. Yes, it saves them money, but if they want money, they should make actually good movies and shows. If studios are using AI anyways, they should at least have the decency to let people know. Some people probably don't care, but others might not want to watch a movie with AI. I wonder if there might be some sort of rule where studios have to say if they used AI or not. Right now, there's no law or rule that says they have to disclose such a thing. But I wonder if there could be such a rule in the future where, like, maybe even in the trailer and the advertisement, it's like, this movie was made with AI. Like, I can see that being a thing. Mary Lynn Cherry says, I'm okay with it. Jobs are replaced with tech all the time. But if only they are creating new people and not copying actors that have not agreed to the specific project. Well, unfortunately, it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. They are copying actors or not creating new people. So if they were creating new people, I mean, at least that's a little better because they're not stealing someone's likeness, but then it's also like, well, at least that real person didn't get that one day's, pay, so it's like, I don't know, it's all an ethical mess. Desi B, right, got it right, says, first of all, why only one row of AI background actors? LOL, it looks so creepy. It does look creepy. Second, I feel like I would like to learn more about AI. I think AI use/integration into society is inevitable. I think using it ethically is top priority, though. The scary part is, this is AI in its infancy. It will only improve from here. Yes, that's what I've been saying. Even though it looks very bad now, and yes, we can all admit this looks pretty bad. Like, just, yeah, we can all even tell which ones are the fake ones because they don't look real at all. But again, AI is improving very, very quickly, so this is the worst it's ever going to look. It's very, very scary, like, where this whole technology can be very quickly. It's very, very crazy. Jordan Davis says, this is just disturbing. I think that the government should, and hopefully eventually would, with the AI rise, have regulations on AI with Hollywood. And since AI is not human, we won't be held back by constitutional rights. Yet. But yeah. That's why I'm happy about the bill. The bill could actually fix this whole, well, not fix, but it could at least help celebrities with the whole, like, AI stealing their likeness thing. Because I wonder, I bet these celebrities are not happy about all of these images on the internet with them doing obscene things. Like, it can't be good for their brand, so I bet they're not happy about it, but they're probably like, what can I even do? CCG says, dogs don't shoot the scene if you can't afford actors. This is Uncanny Valley. It is very uncanny. I have to say, I don't think the whole AI actors thing will ever truly take off until they can cross that uncanny valley. Because I don't see anyone showing up for a movie where the main actor just looks uncanny the whole time. Well, no, never mind. I saw The Irishman. The Martin Scorsese movie. I was about to say no one would watch an entire movie where the main character looks uncanny the whole time, and then I watched The Irishman, where it was like 2, or was it 3? It was like multiple old guys, very respected actors, you know, very good actors. But they tried to de-age Robert De Niro, okay? And the entire time I was like, you look like a CGI, you know, Polar Express face. Like, I just did not believe it. So other than The Irishman, I just don't think most people are going to watch a whole movie where, like, the main person just looks very uncanny. Like, it's very bad for them. Sorry. Sorry about my voice. Did anyone see The Irishman? Do you know what I'm talking about? Man, that was a struggle to get through. The legendary movie critic says, I think that the studios need to be banned from scanning new actors and extras and using them for AI crowds by forcing them without their consent. Disney needs to be punished, and Paramount needs to be punished for using it on Gladiator II. Use actual actors for scenes with crowds, not just CGI and visual effects. Will they be punished? Like, now that we know Disney and Paramount has done this, and again, the main issue here is that it was done without these actors' permission. Will they actually be punished? Will they face any repercussions from this at all? I don't know, and I think that's really sad. Joshua Munn says, well, we just received news that the AMPTP and SAG are no longer in negotiations, yes. And it's over AI. I know, I've been saying for a while that it was going to be over AI. And I did talk about the bill as well. But the issue is that coupled with the House of Representatives not even having a speaker, let alone not focusing on that given current events with Israel and Ukraine. I don't know. Do you guys... Well, I'm not going to have an open discussion about this, but I don't know if the Israel versus Ukraine situation will stop this AI bill from going into effect. I'm hoping that, or maybe I'm naively believing that our government is functional enough to focus on more than one issue at a time, but maybe I'm too naive. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this will stop the bill in its tracks. I have no idea. I doubt that's even on the priority list at all, and you can't really copyright your image or likeness or voice without SAG and AMPTP working out a deal. We're going to get more of this. I mean, Once Upon a Studio is coming out, and that's using AI voices of all the dead voice actors. So is that confirmed? I've been getting like mixed signals about this. So Disney, I mean, I have talked about this on the show, but just to like refresh your memory, Disney is coming out with a Disney Plus show called Once Upon a Studio, where they're bringing back like over 100 of their animated characters all in one show. And I've been hearing like back and forth, like Disney is using AI for some of the voices, they're not using AI for some of the voices. I'm not sure if they are using AI for the voices. Like if they are using AI for Robin Williams' voice, I feel like that should be a major scandal. If they are using AI for his voice, that is an issue, because I keep hearing like they aren't and they are, so I'm not sure. I really hope they aren't. Yeah, you brought up Robin Williams, but I'm not sure that they are. I'm gonna look into it after the show. I really hope they're not doing that. The actors striking indefinitely will just accelerate these plans, especially if Congress is distracted with World War III to pass any other legislation on AI. World War III. World War III. Oh, I don't want World War III. Oh man, you know. How are you guys doing? How are you doing? Like, we went through a pandemic, and then we just got out of it, and now we might be going into, another world war. How are you doing? Truthfully. This is a safe space. This is a crazy time to be alive, let me tell you. Robert Bell, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. What is your opinion on de-aging actors? I feel like that's fine. I have no problem with it. I just want the technology to get to the point where it's not uncanny, because it's not yet. They used the de-aging in the new Indiana Jones movie, and it also looked very uncanny. It's not good enough yet, in my opinion. But once it's good enough, I feel like since you're already using like the real actor as a base, or at least you should be, it's fine. My issue is like when you're completely replacing a real person entirely. Therapy with Brittany. Natanya says it's brutal out there. I know. It really is. And I'm laughing because that's how I cope with things, but there's really nothing to laugh about. Rachel says, World War III plus AI crisis. We might not be as far from the end of the world as Brittany thinks. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How do my streams always end up so dark by the end? This is really funny. Anyway, going back to this. Samantha Horde says, I think the use of AI is unnecessary and it looks terrible. It's like mixing video game characters with real people. Disney is wrong for this. Yeah, right now it looks bad, but it won't always. Shelley Lee, thank you so much for being a member, says, I do not have a problem with AI if used to augment the human experience. Thanks Star Trek. I would love to be able to walk to a console and say, tea Earl Grey hot, and a cup of tea appears just like the way I like it. What studios are trying to do is replace the human experience, human existence in the cheapest way possible. I hope and pray that we as a species never accepts an actual artist being replaced by a computer-generated binary piece of soulless garbage. Oh, Shelley. I can tell you're very passionate about this subject. And you're rightfully so. Unfortunately, though, this last statement, I hope and pray that we as a species never accept an AI artist over a real one. Unfortunately, I think that is definitely going to be the case. I know. I'm sorry, Shelley. But I would love a Star Trek future too, man. A Star Trek future over a Blade Runner future any day. But right now, I feel like we are barreling towards cyberpunk dystopia. I'm just like, can we go back to Star Trek at least? But thank you for the post. Joshua Munn says, well, we just received news that the studio and SAG are no longer in negotiations. Oh wait, this is the same post. Oh, I think you accidentally posted it twice. So let me refresh, make sure I got everyone's post. Did I get everyone? This was a fun discussion, y'all. I loved this. Okay, I did get everyone. Okay. So thank you everyone for commenting and posting. Thank you for being a member. If you want to be a member, please press the join button at the bottom of the screen. It does support the channel. These were all really great comments. As usual, you guys have some really insightful things to say. I love these comments. These are always great. So thank you for being a member and thank you for participating. All right, so that's the end of the show. We actually had a very long show today, which is fine because, again, I'm probably not going to have a show for a couple of days. I will let you know when the show is back, so don't worry. I am going to post a couple of, posts along, couple of sorry. I am going to make a couple of posts on the community page just to, keep you updated and all that, so stay tuned for that. I will see you guys next week at some point eventually, and it will be a new set, a new vibe, new background, so I can't wait for you guys to see that. This was a lot of fun. Although it did get a little dark, but it was fun in a dark way. I'll take 3 questions, and then that'll be the end of the stream, and I'll see you next week. Jordan says, I'm putting myself in a coma until all of this ends. Angie, oh my gosh, you did not just gift another 10 memberships. Angie, that is incredible. Angie, wow, thank you so much. You guys, just gotta give them all my hats off to you guys. You guys are great. Who's a member now? Okay, Ethan Vega is a member. Malix is a member. Goat Queen is a member. Rusty Shackelford is a member. Earl Willow is a member. Grace Likes to Draw is a member. Frankie Wants a Snack is a member. It's Shay Amore is a member. Teddy Bear is a member. I'm not Alex is a member. Was that everyone? I think that was everyone. Yes. So congratulations to all the new members. As you guys just saw, you guys get to post on the community page, and those members only posts, and then your post gets read on my live stream. So look forward to those next week. 'Cause I got a lot more posts coming. Thank you, Angie. You've been so generous and kind. All of you really have been so generous and kind this week. This has been amazing. Wow, thank you so much. This is great. Joe Pedro says, have you seen the Spiderwick series? Will they come back? They've just moved to another platform. Yes, I did see the Spiderwick series that was canceled by Disney Plus. It got picked up by Roku, I think. I liked the Spiderwick books when I was a kid. I just haven't seen or dealt with anything Spiderwick since then, so I feel like I just left that in the past. But if little kids want to watch it today, good for them. I remember it was a very good series. Oh, you guys want a Prancer pick after the move? Okay, I'll let you guys see Prancer once I get to the new place. I know, it is kind of like Oprah. You get a membership. All right. That's it for today. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you, Angie, again, and thank you everyone else who participated. This has been great. You guys are great. I'll see you guys next week after my move. Again, pay attention to the community page so you guys know when I'm coming back. And I'll see you then.